my name is Samantha Smith. I'll be talking about adolescent pregnancy today, which is Chapter 6, Section 3, Negative Sexual Outcomes in Adolescence. Adolescent girls who become pregnant are from different ethnic groups and from different places. To many adults, they represent a flaw in America's social fabric. Each year, more than 200,000 females in the United States have a child before their 18th birthday. In cross-cultural comparisons, the United States continues to have one of the highest adolescent pregnancy and childbearing rates in the industrialized world, despite a considerable decline in the 1990s. The U.S. adolescent pregnancy rate is 8 times as high as in the Netherlands. Why are U.S. adolescent pregnancy rates so high? 3 reasons based on cross-cultural studies are as follows. Childbearing regarded as adult activity, clear messages about sexual behavior, and access to family planning services. Childbearing regarded as adult activity. European countries as well as Canada give a strong consensus that childbearing belongs in adulthood, when young people have completed their education, have become employed, and independent from their parents, and are living in stable relationships. The second, clear messages about sexual behavior. While adults in other countries strongly encourage teens to wait until they have established themselves before having children, they are generally more accepting than American adults of teens having sex. In France and Sweden in particular, teen sexual expression is seen as normal and positive, but there is also widespread expectation that sexual intercourse will take place within committed relationships. Equally strong is the expectation that young people who are having sex will take actions to protect themselves and their partners from pregnancy and sexually transmitted infections, an expectation that is much stronger in Europe than in the United States. Number 3, access to family planning services. In countries that are more accepting of teenage sexual relationships, teenagers also have easier access to reproductive health services. In Canada, France, Great Britain, and Sweden, contraceptive services are integrated into other types of primary health care and are available free or at low cost for all teenagers. Generally, they know where to obtain the information and services and where to receive confidential and non-judgmental care. This is different in the United States. Teens have a harder time obtaining contraceptive services. Many do not have health insurance or cannot get birth control as part of their basic health care. Trends in U.S. adolescent pregnancy rates. So, despite the negative comparisons in the United States with many other developed countries, there have been some encouraging trends in the U.S. adolescent pregnancy rates. So, there has been a decline since 1991 of 37%. The reasons for this can be considered from school community health classes, increased contraceptive use, and fear of sexually transmitted infections. Ethnic variations characterize adolescent pregnancy. Latino adolescents are more likely than African American and non-Latino white adolescents to become pregnant. Out of 1,000 births from females aged 15 to 19, 70.1 are from Latina Americans, and 59 are from African Americans, with non-Latino whites at 25.6. So even though adolescent childbearing overall has declined steeply over the last half-century, the proportion of adolescent births that are non-marital has increased in equally dramatic fashion, from 13% in 1950 to 87% in 2008. The reasons for this are, first, marriage in adolescence has now become quite rare, and second, pregnancy is no longer seen as a reason for marriage. And that's also seen as a shotgun wedding or shotgun marriage, when youth were forced to marry if a girl became pregnant, which is not as likely nowadays. Abortion. This is an impassioned debate characterizes abortion in the United States today, and this debate is likely to continue in the foreseeable future. The experiences of U.S. adolescents who want to have an abortion vary by state and region. 38 states prohibit abortions, while 34 states require some kind of parental involvement. Adolescent girls are more likely than older women to delay having an abortion until after 15 weeks of pregnancy, when medical risks associated with abortion increase significantly. So there is legislation mandating parental consent for an adolescent girl's abortions, and this has been justified by several assumptions, which include high risk of harm from abortion, adolescents' inability to make an adequately informed decision, and benefits of parental involvement. Legal abortion in the United States itself carries few medical risks if performed in the first trimester of pregnancy. In terms of psychological risks, a recent study revealed that abortion did not lead to mental health problems for adolescent girls. Other studies have found that adolescents are not psychologically harmed by their abortion experience, and regardless of the research outcomes, pro-life, which are positions in their religious beliefs and political convictions and morality, who believe that it is important to choose life and not have an abortion. So, consequences of adolescent pregnancy. The consequences of Americans' high adolescent pregnancy rate are cause for great concern. Adolescent pregnancy creates health risks for both the baby and the mother. Infants born to adolescent mothers are more likely to be born preterm and have low birth weights, a prominent factor in infant mortality, as well as neurological problems and childhood illness. Adolescent mothers often drop out of school. A longitudinal study revealed that these characteristics of adolescent mothers were related to their likelihood of having problems as emerging adults. These problems could be history of school problems, delinquency, hard substance abuse, mental health problems. Though the consequences of America's high adolescent pregnancy rate are cause for great concern, it is often not pregnancy alone that leads to negative consequences. Adolescent girls are more likely to come from a low SES background. Although adolescent pregnancy is a high-risk circumstance, and adolescents who do not become pregnant generally fare better than those who do, some adolescent mothers do well in school and have positive outcomes. So, adolescents as parents. So only 1 in 5 pregnant adolescents receive prenatal care during the first 3 months of pregnancy, which is quite alarming, because pregnant adolescents are more likely to have anemia and complications related to prematurity than are mothers aged 20 to 24. The problems of adolescents almost double the risk of delivering a low birth weight baby. Something else that's quite interesting is children who are born to adolescent mothers do not do as well on intelligence tests and have more behavioral problems. Now, when it comes to adolescent fathers, 1 in 4 adolescent fathers are said to have a close relationship with their babies. When looking at that, it's quite interesting to see that 75% do not have close relationships with their babies. Adolescent fathers have lower incomes, less education, and are more children than do men who delay having children until their 20s. One reason for these difficulties is that the adolescent father often compounds the problems of becoming a parent at a young age by dropping out of school. Reducing adolescent pregnancy. So John Conger, hopefully I pronounced that right, offered the following 4 recommendations for reducing the high rate of adolescent pregnancy. The first being sex education and family planning. The second, access to contraceptive methods. Third, the life options approach. And fourth, broad community involvement and support. So age of family Age-appropriate family life education benefits adolescents. One strategy that can be used in some family life education programs is the Baby Think It Over doll, which is just shown, so I'm going to point with my mouse right here. It's a life-size computer-driven baby doll that engages in realistic responses, and this often provides adolescents the opportunity to experience responsibilities of being a parent, which often they wouldn't have experienced otherwise. A recent study of Latino 9th grader students who took care of the Baby Think It Over dolls found the experience increased the age at which they would like to have children, and also increased or raised their concerns about having a baby and how it might interfere with their plans of their life, such as schooling or kind of what they want to see for their own futures. In addition to age-appropriate family life and sex education, sexually active adolescents need access to contraceptive methods. So these can often be handled through adolescent clinics that provide comprehensive, high-quality health services. So better sex education, family planning, and access to contraceptive methods alone will not remedy the adolescent pregnancy crisis, especially for high-risk adolescents. Adolescents have to become motivated to reduce their pregnancy risk. This motivation will only come when adolescents look to the future and see that they have an opportunity to become self-sufficient and successful. They need opportunities to improve their academic and career-related skills, job opportunities, life planning consultation, and extensive mental health services. So one of these services is Girls Incorporated, which has 4 programs that are intended to increase adolescent girls' motivation to avoid pregnancy until they are mature enough to make responsible decisions about motherhood. Other such services are Growing Together, which is a series of 5 2-hour workshops. There is also Willpower Won't Power, a series of 6 2-hour sessions that focus on assertiveness. There's Taking Care of Business, which provides 9 sessions that emphasize career planning as well as information about sexuality, reproduction, and contraception. HealthBridge coordinates health and education services, and girls can participate in this program as one of their club activities. So the fifth, I guess you would say, way to reduce adolescent pregnancy is abstinence. Abstinence is increasingly being included as a theme in sex education classes, which is something that's kind of concern because with abstinence, if it's something that is prevalent over others, you might not get the right sex education, which will also be talked about in section 4 of chapter 6. To end things off, I'd just like to talk about media and adolescent pregnancy, which can be found in shows today such as Teen Mom. 16 Pregnant was before that. So here's just one of the videos on that.